Phone here somewhere. Okay, I got it. Welcome. Call the meeting to order. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the January 4, 2022 School Bond Advisory Board meeting, and I'd recognize a motion to that effect. Motion's been made. Is there a second? Somebody needs to second it. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, vote. Looks like it passes. Moving on to the next item, if I can figure out how to do it. I skipped to approving the minutes. We need to approve the minutes to January 4th, 2020.
We just did. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Revenue and expenditure report.
That one? Oh, that one. Okay. Independent School District number 89, 2007 and 2016 school bond issue, revenue and expenditure reports. A, receive Independent School District number 89, 2007, 2016 school bond issue, revenue and expenditure reports as of December 31 of 21. I recognize the motion to that effect. Motion passes. Moving to the next item is items for individual consideration.
Thank you, Chair. We're happy to bring before you today the Wilson Elementary School Gymnasium project. As you can tell, we're in the 2007 bond program. This is the last one. Construction budget was $3.5 million, and we got good bids on bid day for $2.8 million, including alternate for the trash dumpster enclosure. So before you today is the contract to move forward with TCS Construction.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, please vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Move and second. And you can vote. Like it passes.
Yep.
Next item is to recommend Independent School District number 89 approve the final plans, project SB 16-010, Slab Mediation at Douglas High School.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last month before you was a preliminary report for this particular project, and this month we do have final plans. Gary Jewell is here with the school district to provide a presentation.
Hello, board members. How y'all doing today? So just recently we had presented a preliminary report on this, and now we're ready to present our final construction documents on this. And so, well, I'll go back. ADG and KFC are our engineering firms that have put this together for us, and we worked with the SRB also for civil engineering, and we worked in conjunction with CMS Willowbrook's going to be our construction management firm on it, and Terracom did our geotechnical work on it. And the site in question on it is Douglas High School, which is at Martin Luther King and Northeast 10th Street. And it's the south side of the school that we were having some issues with. And so the area there in the, I guess it's kind of a pink color, and the purple area is the areas we're going to be working on this coming summer. So the areas now in this brown area is phase one of it, and that's where we have the most extensive amount of settling and heaving in the slab. We have a little bit over in the part to the right. So what we're gonna do is, we went and did a Lidar study, and a Lidar study is where they come in with a laser, and they do digital measuring throughout the whole area, the floors, walls, everything, and you see the different contour lines are the different elevation changes throughout that area. And this area down here where the lines are real close to each other, that's where you see quite a difference of elevation in the floor. So where the green marks at the bottom is basically where a grade should have been. But see how their lines go up? The slab is actually heaving up at that point. So we're gonna come back in, and that's the second floor. A little bit of difference in it, but not nearly like the first floor. And this is the courtyard that is also in the middle of that whole building. It's a grassy area, then it also has some areas some area drains, similar to where those light posts are out in the middle. And this is the south side of the school, and it's all brick on the bottom part, EIFS material on the upper part. And so what we're gonna do is we gotta come in here and demo out some trees on this south side, come into the courtyard and do some regrading, remove some inlets that we feel like are too small on the inlet part of it, and resize those up. And down here at the bottom, all the squares around the bottom part and the inner part of the courtyard is new concrete. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour a 15-foot band of concrete around the whole south side of the school, and we're gonna do a 10-foot band on the inside. So, because what the engineers are feeling on this is that the soil that was underneath the school originally, it was a real expansive clay. They dug out 4 foot of that soil when they built the school, and they came back in with a select fill and put in there that should not expand as much. But their feeling is that moisture from outside rains are getting in outside the building, migrating in underneath there and hitting that expansive clay that's down deep and is pushing back up. And the outside walls, it's not really pushing because you have so much weight. The corridor walls in the middle, again, there are a lot of weight to them. But right in the middle of that slab area, it's just 4 inches of concrete. So it's found the path of least resistance, so it's pushing it back up. So we're gonna also go inside that school and we're gonna drill hose and do injections in the slab. And we're also gonna go around the outside perimeter and put steel rods, drive them down into harder soil to hold and kind of pull up on the outside foundation. And that's showing 24 hydraulic piers, and that's what I was just kind of alluding to. They're gonna be going around right in those areas there, P1 through P3s in the different areas. I can't really see it, I'm sorry. And we also have some stairs that on the inside of the courtyard that have some failure over time of either not a great paint job first of all, not maintained properly later. So we're gonna tear those out and redo those stairs during this project, since we're gonna be in there doing that work in the courtyard anyway. And then we did have some alternates in the project to clean up some of the EIFS and the brickwork, clean it up. Again, if we have the money that we've budgeted in this to get those items, we'll do it during this project. If not, that's something we can always come back as an alternate project to do some additional cleanup. Not nearly as critical as the structural work. And so with this being said, we're gonna take care of all the structural issues with this part here this summer. We're gonna hold it through the next school year, see how everything, if anything's moving or not, then we'll come back in, feel like everything's in good shape on that, and we'll redo finishes inside. We got a lot of issues where a lot of cracking, so we're gonna take out some, we call it demising walls between classrooms, take those out, rebuild new, float out floors, clean it all up the following summer. And so this kind of shows you the schedule. Phase 1 this summer, phase 2 will happen next summer. And that's our budget of what we've estimated. Phase 1 this summer, 1.5 million. Phase 2, $600,000. And that's it. Anybody have any questions on that?
I have a question, or two questions. This is great, thank you. One question is, the trees that you said that you were going to remove, will they be put back in to the courtyard? Or will there be shade put in the courtyard?
Mostly we're taking out is out the outside perimeter area. I'll be honest with you, we love trees as far as what they look like, but when you get them up close to our buildings, they cause us more problems than they do the beautification they do, because the root systems that come in and they damage our foundations. So at this time right now, we're not planning on placing any trees back in that area. Not to say that we'll get with Mr. McLaughlin over here, and he'll hook us up later with a young man that helps us out and get some other beautification trees out away from our buildings.
Yeah, I was more concerned just like a shade, so that when they're outside, they were cool. But it doesn't sound like it's providing much shade, the trees.
No.
And then my other question was, again, this looks fabulous, but it is kind of a long project. Has there been communication, or is there planned communication to the families at Douglas that this project is coming and evolving, and what the deadlines are coming out of the district?
Well, the school's been notified, so everybody within the school, and I don't know if they've notified outside patrons, I mean, on that or not, but this has been an ongoing situation for a long time, so I'll reach out and make sure on that, but we've been reviewing this for quite a few years, and we're finally to the point we've got a good funding source to be able to take care of it.
Any other questions?
I've got a question. Do I understand you correctly, the structural part, we're budgeting for. The aesthetic part, we may budget for it, or it may happen?
We will do it next year. It's budgeted in, but there's not enough timeline to get this all done. We get 2 months in the summertime to do the work without.
Sure.
We can do the structural part, get everything done, everything put back in place for them to have school next school year without messing up with their school time. We're actually going to start some of the outside stuff on the south side of the school in May, before school gets out, after testing is 100% completed. That way we can get a jump on it. But there's no way we can do the structural stuff and all the cosmetic stuff this summer. So it's a twofold. There's no way we can do it without closing up some school.
But the budget for it is not in question?
No. We have the 1.5 for now and the 600 for later. It all will come out of Prop 1, Item 8 other in our funding.
Other questions?
Thank you.
We'll vote. All in favor, please indicate so by saying aye or waving your arm or putting it on your computer.
Need a motion?
I need a motion. Well, okay. I can't make the motion. Somebody needs to move. It's been moved. All in favor, hit their buttons. It passed.
Yep.
Next item, you're still on, Todd.
I'm sorry you guys get to deal with me again.
That's okay. We appreciate what you're doing.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. Before you today is item C, recommend Independent School District number 89 approve the final plans project SB 16-SV07, safety vestibules in approximately a dozen schools listed below there. Again, Gary Jewell with the school district is here to provide a presentation.
All right. So again, this is group 7, 8, 9. So this is the third summer that we have been in the process of doing this. We've done the 2 previous summers. We did group 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. And we did 12 sites each summer. So we're on our final 12. And there's our grouping again. The first summer, second, and then the shaded area, 7, 8, and 9 is the ones there. And we kind of did it this way too, because we did the elementary schools first, and then elementary again, second phases, and maybe a couple of other secondary schools in there. We saved the secondary schools to the last because they all have SROs at those schools. So we felt like they did have somebody, an armed guard there as a protection for the secure entries. So that was the reason we kind of did our staging the way we did. And you'll notice on all the drawings I'm going to show you, they have door numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Some of them might have multiples, 2s or 3s. The way we work this is the office entrance, and there's a speaker there. It's a camera speaker system. So a person comes up and pushes the button, they're able to talk to somebody behind the desk. At that time, they gain them entry into the office area. And then once they confirm that they need to be going into the school, then they can buzz them through door number 2, which is the corridor into the school. Number 3, I'll back up a second. Corridor entrance, yeah. And then 3 is entrance into the main building. And then 4 is another entrance coming in from the back side of the building, and so is 5. And I'll show you when we get on the floor plans of the exact locations where that. So we kind of just did an area map of which schools they are. So Northwest Class and High School. And here's the floor plan. It's a pretty simple situation. Down here where the E1s and the E is down the bottom is existing doors. We're just going to build a little simple vestibule right there where they'll be able to come up to that door. They'll come into the existing door, stop at door 1, they'll buzz them in, they'll come in, then they can either buzz them back out through door 3 back in the entryway or into the hallway. And door 2, what that is if the staff comes in and they don't want to come in the office, we'll have a card reader there for them so they can just buzz themselves on into the school and not have to worry about coming through the office. And then again, door number 4 is keeping them from being able to go on back to the other office areas in the back. Or there's always using another door into the hallways out there. So we're stopping them from getting into the main corridors. Class and SS High School at Northeast. And so this one here, the bottom area where the hashed area is, we've got to make sure we get this one an ADA issue. So we're pouring more concrete out here to keep it within the ADA, no more than a 5% ramp, and getting it into the door. They'll come to the existing door. There's some existing doors, interior doors that were there. We're taking them out and building this new storefront door number 2. That'll stop them there. We're cutting an opening into the wall, and there'll be another doorway, door number 1. That's where the camera will be. They can talk to them, buzz them in, decide what they want to do with them, send them through door 3 or 4. This is going to be a lot of repetitions on this. I'm sorry, guys. So, next one, Class and SAS Middle School. Again, you'll come in through the existing door there at the bottom. 1 is a new storefront door we're putting into the reception area, and so on and so on. 2 takes you, staff members can go on through, or 3 takes you back in the hallway. Again, 4, there's more offices back there, but there's another door into the corridor back there, so we're stopping people from being able to go through there. And the person sitting at the reception desk at all these locations will have availability of a kiosk computer where they can give them access to that computer, or we also put them push buttons in for override situations. Emerson North, same type of deal, existing door. We're putting that storefront in right there where door number 2 is there. They'll come in, we'll add the door number 1, bring them in, and then they can buzz back out 3. There's no other doors out of that office, so that's why there's only 3 doors. And then on that first group, there's our budgets we've scheduled for those 4 schools at $425,000. Webster Middle School. This was a little bit more work to it because it already had a vestibule, but where the door number 1s are, those are existing doors. But the office area was across a main walkway through there. So we had to figure out a way to tie that all together. So we're building a new storefront where door 2 and 3 is on both locations, and kind of reworking the office and the principal's office, redoing the reception desk in there, so that way they're all confined into one area. And we're adding doors number 5s, the 2 5s, to send them back outside again. That's an existing windows that are there. Jefferson Middle School, the existing doors there. Doors 2 were already there, but we got to rework them on hardware. And basically, where all that desk is there, that was more of just a closet area. So we're expanding that closet out into that area, making it areas for staff to be able to sit there. We'll have 2 staff members be able to sit there. People can come in, they can buzz them right into the school, or they can buzz them into 1 and then allow them into 3. And what we did that for, if there's more people in that vestibule, and we don't want to just buzz them right into 2 because we're afraid somebody just follow them right on through, we bring them into 1. That way then we can just take them in through door number 3 without somebody else being able to follow right in. Douglas High School, we're going to be busy at Douglas this summer. Again, pretty simple one. We're adding door number 1 in there that's not there. The others are doors that are existing. We just got to do hardware changes on those. Wheeler, all those doors where 2 is and E1, those are existing doors. We're just adding that little vestibule coming up where door number 1 is, adding hardware and add hardware to door number 3. And those 4 sites budgeted at $500,000. And the last grouping of them, Emerson South, this area here, the office is literally across the hall from it. So there was no way of tying that in without blocking all the traffic. So this was another office area that was down in this area down here. So we reconfiguring it, bring the receptionist over here, move the principal down in this corner where she was in another location. The door E2 is existing. We'll bring them in there, new hardware, change the door out where door 2 is, different hardware, and get everybody where they have to come that area, then we can send them back out in school. Staff members can just card themselves into door number 2 to go in the main body of the school. U.S. Grant, this one here, we try not to change too much of it because the way that entryway is a very massive entryway right there. So the existing vestibule that's up there is there now. So, and even the office door 1 and 3 are existing doors that we're going to add hardware to. But we're adding a new storefront going across right there where the door 2s are. So it'll be a place, still be a massive entry there, but they have to come there, they have to come into 1, they'll buzz them back out to 3, or 4 because there's multiple offices back in that area. Capitol Hill High School, another one that was quite a little bit of work because the office was about 150 foot down the hallway once you came in the front door. So this area here, when you come in, we've converted this area here from, it was part of the library book area, and it was an SRO was sitting in that area. We've reworked this area here where reception will be in here. The SRO will sit in that office there. We'll buzz them through, adding a storefront where door number 2 is. And this is where the existing office is now. So it's quite a, where you see the yellow line on the left, that's where the entry is. They had to walk from there all the way down here to get to the office. So it made it, there's no way to make it secure. So we're going to rework this area so they can utilize that area there. And Mark Twain, this was one of our more challenges. We were going to present this one to you guys last year, but we wanted to cut a hole in the wall. The structural engineer said 2-story building. We don't suggest you that second floor, it might be down the first floor with them. But literally down here at this bottom area, where 1A, we're down below the big blue 1, there was an existing opening there at one time where the original door from the original building school was. So there's already existing ramp that's on the right side. All these lines down at the bottom down here is new ramps and landing that we're putting in. We're going to cut the old existing door in where it was before and rework that whole vestibule and office area. And all those areas are budgeted at $700,000. And that will be out to bid through our purchasing department. We will submit awarded bids next month at your March meeting. Any questions?
Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
You did mention that there's some cameras
Yes.
to that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, what these are, it's a unit that's about 5 inches wide and about 12 inches tall. And it has a camera on it and has a microphone on it. So a person comes up to it and they can push a button and it buzzes somebody behind the desk. They have a little kiosk computer and they can literally see them in the computer. They can talk to them. And actually, if somebody is the principal back in their office, we set that same program up on there. So if for some reason somebody's not sitting at that front desk and they buzz that button, the principal can literally talk to them and buzz them in if they know who they are, and at least buzz them into the office area. They won't be able to go any further than that, but it gives a two-way conversation. Plus, we're putting them in the vestibules instead of the outside door. So the worst thing is a lot of our outside doors don't have a covered area, and you get inclement weather like we're getting ready to have the next few days. The last thing you want is somebody disgruntled anyway, and they're sitting outside, and nobody's sitting at that front desk, and they can't get inside, and they're just getting wet and cold. So we're at least bringing them into the vestibule. Let them be there in a nice, dry, warm area. And if somebody's not there, it gives them time to come up and let them in.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's really good.
Thanks. Yes.
My question is, especially for the middle schools where the students have to wait to get in, do these vestibules, are they going to slow down the bag check process in any way so that it keeps, because there aren't, I know this because I had kids. in
Now,
middle
it's
school.
because what we're doing, a lot of the schools where they do the check-ins in the morning, a lot of times they do them at different doors than what the front entry is. So like Jefferson, the main drop-off for buses and stuff is on the east side of the school. There's a bus drop-off there. So most of the kids come in through that door, and even the car drop-off, they come in through a west door about halfway down the building. So that's where they have most of their readers and stuff in there. But even if they do come into the front doors, so back it up a second, get to one that's, so like right there, that's an existing at Capitol Hill. They won't come through there. They'll just come straight through. So there's 5 doors outside, 4 doors inside. They'll just continue to come right on in there like that. Then when school starts, then they lock the second doors down. Then they have to go to the office.
Okay,
But they'll
so-
have all their the readers that just went,
So as far as like
metal detectors.
getting into school, this system isn't necessarily fully activated, is what you're saying? Like they can come in at these various, okay.
Yes, and that's what I was saying too. They can come in the outside doors and they can be in between existing doors and 2. They'll be in a nice dry area right there if they come in after hours, after school started, I mean. And if somebody's not sitting right there at that counter, at least they're inside. But then if somebody comes in, or if they buzz the buzz, somebody will have it on their computer too that would be able to come up and know that they're there.
Great. And then the second part of my question is like the other end of that, which is people visiting the school when the system is fully in place. Are there wayfindings, signage, and all of that, both in the parking lot and the door, so people who are visiting know where to go to follow this process?
Well, again, we're not changing any of the main entrances, what it is, except for Mark Twain is the only one that we're going to change, and we will have some type of signage. Even there where you walk up to the front door, there is a handicap ramp that takes you to that front door, where we're just going to, you come up a ramp, there's a landing, and then it goes on up. At that landing, we'll continue up a ramp to the front door. And even when you come to the front door, you'll see the new door there anyway.
Yeah, as someone who visits lots of these schools, I know that I don't always remember exactly like what to do, and they get kind of irritated. So I think the more signage you have, the better to be welcoming to visitors and folks.
And most of them, usually each individual school will add their own signage to different areas. The first school we did this at was John Marshall High School, way before all of this. There's 4 doors right in the front. And we just added another door to the right of it. And so when time school started, 7:25, high school start, they would close those 4 doors. And then we put a sidewalk in right there. So it was very evident that, boom, it was good. But it did have a sign on it that said after hours, or during school times entry.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the consent doc. Oh, we need to vote on what we just did. I'll recognize a motion to that effect. Is there a second? Got it. Pat, cast your vote.
Good.
Are we okay?
No, it's not showing up.
I hadn't seen anything. Okay? It passes. Moving on to the consent docket. Todd?
Yes, before you today, there are 5 items on the consent docket totaling $3,371,678.96. Mr. Chair, these can all be approved under one motion.
I would recognize a motion to that effect from somebody here on the, okay. Oh, okay, we got it moved and seconded and it's passed. Okay, thank you. Next, we have the ratification docket, $160,001.50. Todd?
Similar to last time, there's 5 items on the ratification docket totaling $160,001.50. $1,000,000.50. And again, these can all be approved under one motion.
Any questions? Otherwise, I would recognize a motion for approval, or ratification, I mean. It's moving. Looks like we need a motion. We have a motion.
A motion verbal, yeah.
Yes. And a second? It's moved and seconded. Now we can vote. Sorry about that. I guess I've missed too many meetings or something.
Speak. No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, thank you. I guess I can say we're adjourned.